All right, everybody, welcome back. We're diving into some pretty serious stuff today. Cybersecurity issue that, well, it affects pretty much everyone, even if you think, I'm not technical, this isn't about me. Well, this one is. We're talking about a vulnerability in something called PostgreSQL. It's a database system, really popular one, too.
Yeah.
It's open source.
hmm
We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what all that means and just how big of a deal this vulnerability is. Because let me tell you, it's a big one. We're going off of a cybersecurity report that really breaks it all down. So
Yeah.
first things first, PostgreSQL. What is it? Why should we care about it?
Okay, so PostgreSQL, it's a database. So essentially, it's software for storing and organizing information. And it's what a lot of companies and organizations use behind the scenes to manage all kinds of data. What makes it so popular is that it's open source, which
Yeah.
basically means it's free to use. Anyone can use it, anyone can modify it. And it's known for being really reliable, very flexible.
Okay, so this is all happening in the background, right?
Yeah.
Like most people don't even realize they're interacting with PostgreSQL, but it's kind of everywhere.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about all the things you do online. Online shopping, banking, social media, all the websites and apps, they all have databases behind them. And there's a good chance a lot of them are using PostgreSQL to manage all that data.
Wow. Okay. So this vulnerability, the CVE 2024-12979 thing, why is this one such a big deal?
So this vulnerability allows an unprivileged user, meaning someone who shouldn't have special access, to manipulate these things called environment variables. These variables, they hold sensitive information. It's kind of like
Yeah, masker.
the system.
Whoa. So they don't have to break in like the traditional way. They're using something that's already there
Yeah.
to escalate their privileges.
Yeah, exactly. They're exploiting a trust that's already built into the system. It's a really sneaky way to gain access, and the potential for damage is huge.
Okay, so the report mentioned something about attackers being able to change the path variable. What is that exactly, and how could they use that to their advantage?
Okay, so the path variable, think of it like a roadmap your computer uses to find the programs it needs to run. And by manipulating that roadmap, hackers can trick the system into running their malicious code instead of the legitimate programs.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
that's scary. And then there's the whole malicious queries thing. What does that mean?
Well, a malicious query is basically a command, disguised as something harmless, but it's designed to extract sensitive information from the database, like customer data, financial records, anything valuable.
Yikes. So we know this vulnerability is serious,
Mhm.
but how serious are we talking, really? Because
Yeah.
the CVE 2024-10979 thing, it got a CVSS score of 8.8 out of 10. That's really high, right?
Yeah, that's extremely high. That kind of score means it wouldn't take a lot of skill for an attacker to exploit this, and the potential for damage is massive. Like, we're talking data breaches, service disruptions, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, man. So what can we do about it? The report mentioned they're holding back on some of the technical details. Why is that?
That's pretty common with serious vulnerabilities. They want to give people time to patch their systems before the bad guys figure out how to fully exploit it.
Okay, so patching is priority number one. Which versions of PostgreSQL need this update?
Let's see, the patched versions are 17.1, 16.5, 15.9, 14.14, 13.17, and 12.21. If you're running an older version, you need to update as soon as possible.
Okay, good to know. And what about other ways to mitigate the risk? The report mentioned a few things, right?
Right, so Varonis, the company that discovered this vulnerability, they recommend some additional steps, like
Yeah.
really being careful about what extensions you allow, controlling user permissions very tightly, basically operating on a need-to-know basis. Only give users the minimum access they need to do their jobs. That way, even if an attack happens, the damage is limited.
Right, that makes sense. So it's all about layering those security measures.
Yeah.
This whole situation makes me wonder, open source software is becoming so popular, it's everywhere. But how do we balance that with the security risks?
That's a really good question, and it's a tough one to answer. I mean, open source has so many benefits. It's innovative, it's collaborative, but this vulnerability really highlights the potential downsides. Maybe we need more community-driven security audits or more funding for open source security research. I don't know. It's a complex issue.
Yeah, a lot to think about. So
Yeah.
big takeaway here. We've got a serious vulnerability. It's urgent to patch.
Mm,
And cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility.
absolutely. This is a reminder that as we rely more and more on open source software, we need to find ways to ensure its security without sacrificing the innovation that makes it so valuable.
Yeah, it's a balancing act for sure.
Mm.
We'll be sure to include links to the full cybersecurity report in the show notes. Let us know what you think about all this. And until next time, stay safe out there.